Fort Lauderdale. Download the iRadio Now app for iPhone or Android phones. Free at your iPhone App Store or Android App Market. Take AM 1470 WWNN with you wherever you go. Talk health. Talk wealth. Talk politics. Talk 1470 WNN.
If you have a family member who's in need of or will be in need of long-term care and for whatever reason does not have long-term care insurance, you're probably in a panic. You ask yourself, what are we going to do? How will we pay for it? Will we be forced to sell our home? Will this bankrupt our family? Well, this is Steve Kane with good news. It's not too late. I want you to call my good friend, attorney Barry Siegel. He will employ effective legal strategies to help you qualify for Veteran Administration and Medicaid benefits that will cover the cost of long-term care without jeopardizing the financial security of your family that you have worked so hard for. Attorney Barry Siegel, with offices from Palm Beach to Miami, call today for a no-charge consult, 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855-FLA-3782.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Heal Yourself Show with Drs. Jonathan Chung and Greg Jean-Pierre of Keystone Chiropractic in Wellington and the Upper Cervical Institute of Florida. Dr. Chung and Dr. Jean-Pierre are chiropractors with a focus on correction of the upper cervical spine. Together they have worked with some of the leading doctors and health experts in the country and have helped thousands of patients regain their health from a variety of chronic health problems related to the structural alignment of the head and neck. Dr. Chung and Dr. Jean-Pierre have authored and published in peer-reviewed scientific journals. They've also been featured speakers around the country on topics ranging from head injury, chronic pain, spinal health, and fitness. Their goal is to teach you how to unlock the doctor within and heal yourself. Join them today as they share their passion for serving families and helping people who could not get better through traditional and alternative means. Call the Heal Yourself Show at 888-565-1470.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the premiere episode of the Heal Yourself radio show. I'm Dr. Jonathan Chung. Today with me is Dr. Jean-Pierre, and we are Nuka chiropractors. So we got a great show planned for you today. We're going to introduce ourselves in a little bit, but we want to go over the concept of our show first of all. And that starts with the idea that I believe that everyone in the world should be able to take care of themselves and to unlock their hidden potential and heal themselves. And through the course of the next several shows, we'll be talking about different health topics from different conditions to fitness to alternative therapies to conventional therapies. But most importantly, we really want to go ahead and find the best way to answer your questions, find out what you're looking for, and provide you with research-based answers to get the help that you need. So I'm going to go ahead and take it to my partner, Dr. Jean-Pierre, let him introduce himself. And here he is.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Jean-Pierre. It's really a pleasure to be here. And first of all, before I even begin, I want to definitely thank Dr. Chung because I really, really like to work with people that knows what they're doing. And I remember meeting Dr. Chung in New York, just graduating and wanted to work with the Nuka work. And the progress that he's made and in helping people is just incredible. So it's really an honor and privilege for me to be here doing this show with Dr. Chung. As you said, my name is Dr. Jean-Pierre. I have a practice here called Upper Cervical Institute of Florida in Boca area, and we focus on the structural component of the nervous system, really balancing out the nervous system and allowing your body to heal itself. A little bit about me. Again, my name is Gregory Jean-Pierre. I was born in Haiti, raised in Miami. Went to school at Barry University, graduated with a degree of sports medicine and athletic training. Went to chiropractic school in Missouri, and there, and I will share my story with you later, that's when I actually found the NUCA work, which is what we're going to talk about, and went on to get adjusted and fell in love with chiropractic, fell in love with NUCA, and here I am today after seeing thousands of patients getting well, and here we are spreading the message of NUCA.
Yeah, and Dr. Greg is being a little bit humble as well, because he actually had the opportunity to work in one of the busiest and most prominent upper cervical practices in the world, and that's when he spent some time up in New York, and he is an absolute clinical master. As for myself, I'm Dr. Jonathan Chung. I'm actually Florida born and raised. I was raised in Broward County. I played baseball all my life. I've been a big fitness nut throughout pretty much all my entire existence. I actually went to the University of Central Florida, got a degree in microbiology, molecular biology, and I actually got my chiropractic degree from Life University up in Atlanta, Georgia. So we both got into chiropractic for various reasons. But I think the biggest reason that we want to talk to you about today is this concept of being able to heal yourself, and that healing comes from within. So a lot of people think about chiropractic, Dr. Greg, from the standpoint that it's for things like neck pain, back pain, and car accidents. But what is really the underlying theme with chiropractic?
Well, I'm glad you asked. And just like you said, the concept of the show is heal yourself. Everybody was born with an innate wisdom or a doctor within to allow your body to heal itself. Traditionally, people think when you think of chiropractic, you think of back pain, neck pain, headaches, and stuff like that. Where chiropractic did not start that way. The very first chiropractic adjustment was done back in 1895 when D.D. Palmer adjusted a guy that was deaf and then got his hearing back. So that's how chiropractic got started, without the need of back pain, neck pain, and headache, but by balancing out the nervous system, which we talk about, which is the body, brain and body connection. The body is able to naturally heal itself over time. So what we're going to be teaching you is certain things that you can do to unlock the doctor within, and some of the things that we are able to do in our office to actually allow your body to heal itself naturally.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people also associate chiropractic with things like acupuncture because it's this so-called drug-free way of healing. But ultimately, we acknowledge that all healing has to come from within, that your body knows what's best. When, your body has a fever, the natural inclination is to lower that fever and bring it down to a number like 98.6. But in reality, a fever, even though it's uncomfortable for people, is something that is part of the body's natural healing process. It actually slows down bacterial growth, and it also stimulates your white blood cells to go out and fight the infection. So by lowering our body's defenses artificially, are we actually doing the body a service in the name of feeling good?
Yes, and you're right. And I talk to a lot of people when we talk about a lot of time the symptoms and the disease is actually the cure. That's the body's natural ability to heal itself. And just like you talked about, I believe at 100.25 degree temperature, really virus cannot survive at that temperature. At 100.45 degree temperature, bacterial infection cannot survive. So when you get those fevers, that's the body's natural ability to try to get rid of these symptoms or these bacterial or viral infection to allow the body to naturally heal itself. So by taking anything from the outside in, you're actually allowing that nervous system, or you're interfering with that nervous system, and you're actually allowing those bacteria and the viruses to grow. So again, the body, and one of the key things I want people to take away from this is that the body is a self-healing, self-adapting, and self-regulating mechanism. What we need to do is remove any interference to allow the body to do exactly what it was designed to do, which is to heal itself.
You're absolutely right, Greg. So one of the things that got me into chiropractic is that it's not just about treating someone's symptoms. It's not about making someone's headache go away. It's not about making someone's backache go away. But the thing I really loved about it is that it's really about optimal performance, and how when someone continually does things to move themselves towards optimal performance, and it's really, really hard to get sick and get ill. So when you're putting the right nutrients in your body through the proper foods and supplements, when you're moving your body through exercise, you have great mental attitude, and of course maximum nerve supply, then when people are doing all those things correctly, then it's really hard to come down with these chronic diseases that are really plaguing millions and millions of people in the United States every single day.
Yeah, and interesting enough, when you talk about chronic diseases is nothing more, and again, chronic means it's been there for a long time, but the reason why it's been there and it's chronic is because we haven't taken the time out to actually deal with the problem itself. What we've been doing is taking all these things from the outside in and kind of really depressing the symptoms and depressing the disease, and over a long period of time, then it becomes a chronic condition. Versus through chiropractic, what we are able to do is actually get to the root cause of the problem, really get rid of whatever's causing those symptoms, so you never have those problems again. And again, in the United States, we have a number of chronic diseases, and it's because we don't take care of the problem when it starts, and we just keep pushing the pain away, keep pushing the symptoms away, and over time, it creates what we experience in today as chronic pain and chronic symptoms.
Definitely. Well, Dr. Greg, tell me what got you into chiropractic, because I think that's an interesting story.
Well, it is kind of an interesting story, and when you talk to chiropractors, they always have this uplifting story to tell why they got in chiropractic. Unfortunately, my story is not like that. I was really motivated by money, and it's kind of hard to say that, but it's true. After graduating from Barry University with a degree of athletic training sports medicine, I realized that I couldn't make the money I wanted to, and I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon. And I have a good friend of mine that is an orthopedic surgeon that but he had no life whatsoever. He really was in the hospital or on the field, and so I decided to become a chiropractor because I had all the connections and wanted to do sports chiropractic. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately for me, when I first got there, I met a gentleman by the name of Dr. Matthew Flory that started adjusting me. And the thing is, I had migraines ever since I was a kid. At the age of 5, I started having headaches and migraines, and I literally tried everything there is out there as far as modern medicine, as far as alternative medicine, and my migraine was still going on. I even tried the medication, but the symptoms was worse. And as this guy started adjusting me, it didn't happen right away, and some of the things we'll discuss as far as some of the procedures that he did, but slowly but surely my migraine started going away. Keep in mind, I had migraines from the age of 5, and at that point I was 25 when I started chiropractic school. And immediately my motivation shift. It was no longer about money. It really was taking care of people, because I suffered for 20 years when you shouldn't have to. And I know a lot of people that suffer from migraine, and probably people that suffer from all kind of other conditions. I've suffered, and they've been told that there's nothing they can do. You're just going to have to live with it. And after I had my experience, I dedicate myself to making sure that those people have an answer, which is why really we're doing this radio show today, to teach people that there's something out there that's will allow your body to heal, and you don't have to suffer from it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I think that story is just amazing, because I was never, I guess, unfortunately or fortunately enough to have anything like that and to be healed by someone through chiropractic. I actually got into it because, growing up in a very holistic lifestyle, with my family, we always sought natural remedies. Whenever I had a fever, I was always told to just sleep it off. And it was all just going back to this concept of, save medicine and save pills for those last resort situations. And I went to Central Florida thinking that I was going to be a medical doctor, but through the course of time, I just learned that there was a healing art which acknowledged the body's ability to heal itself. I actually sought chiropractic care from my best friend's father, who, Dr. Matt Westheimer, shout out to him, and his father, Dr. Bob Westheimer. He actually started adjusting me, and I just noticed that things like, the normal quote-unquote headache that I used to get started going away. I also noticed that I was recovering from sports injuries a lot faster. Whenever I'd hurt myself in the gym, I'd go in, get checked out, get adjusted if I needed to, and sure enough, I would find that my shoulders would start healing. And I thought this was amazing. Like, why shouldn't I do this for the rest of my life? And that's what turned me on to chiropractic. And, we're going to get into it after this commercial break. We're going to talk about, the healing art that we practice, which is the NUCCA protocol. And we're going to talk about how that impacted our lives and how that's impacted our patients' lives. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Make sure you give a listen to our sponsors, and make sure you act on taking advantage of our promotion that we're doing through the radio show today. And if you want to call in, we'll be on 1-888-565-1470. And stay tuned for the commercial for a special message from Keystone Chiropractic and the Upper Cervical Institute of Florida.
When was the last time you had your atlas checked? When your head and neck shift out of place, it can actually affect your whole body. Do you suffer from migraines, TMJ, dizziness, or chronic back and neck pain? If so, you may have an atlas problem, and you need a NUCA chiropractor. NUCA allows for a gentle and precise correction of your spine without any popping, twisting, or cracking associated with conventional manipulations. Call Keystone Chiropractic at 561-247-0044 and schedule a free consultation. Dr. Chung is one of approximately 300 doctors in the world trained in the NUCA protocol of spinal correction. Stop suffering. When your doctors can't determine the problem, you need to contact Keystone Chiropractic. We won't ask you to believe in chiropractic or commit to a lifetime of treatment. What we will do is show you what normal is, and we'll tell you how to get there again. We'll show you using precision technology that your spine has changed for the better, even after one correction. Then we'll show you the path for keeping it that way. If you are tired of constantly patching the problem and you're looking for a long-term solution that you can both feel and see for yourself, then a NUCA office is the right place for you. Once the foundation has been fixed, then we'll teach you how to keep it that way through customized recommendations designed for your spine so that the problem doesn't come back. What do you have to lose? Call today to schedule your complimentary consultation. If you call during the hour, we'll give you a $100 gift certificate to use towards your first visit. No questions asked. No commitments, just a conversation to see if we can help. 2 convenient locations in Boca Raton and West Palm Beach. Call Keystone Chiropractic today and end your days of suffering with chronic pain. Go to our website at www.keystonechiropractic.com or call us at 561-247-0044.
And welcome back, everyone. This is Dr. Jean-Pierre from Upper Cervical Institute of Florida. As we said before we left, call in with any questions that you have at 1-888-565-1470, or we can be seen live at www.1470.com, 1470.com. As we said before the commercial break, we are running a special for anybody that's interested and call within this hour. That's $100 on gift certificate towards your first visit. You can call my office at 561-409-3594 or Keystone Chiropractic at
561-247-0044.
All right. Well, we had a couple questions during the commercial break. We're going to address those. But first of all, before we even get to that, I believe a lot of those questions are going to be answered about what we have in store for this segment here, talking about what chiropractic is, which we kind of touch base upon. But more specifically, what it is that we do and how we're different from chiropractic as far as the NUCA concept. So do you want to go into a little bit detail about what chiropractic is, and then we'll segue into what NUCA is?
Sure. So a lot of people understand that chiropractors work with the spine, but in essence, the core of chiropractic means that we should be able to bring the spine to a healthy, normal structural position, and by bringing it to a normal structural position, that the nerves of the body, including the brain, spinal cord, and brainstem, will work to their best. And when you have optimal function of the brain, brainstem, and spinal cord, then the body's capable of healing from so many different things. And, NUCA, I feel, delivers on that promise. So why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about what NUCA is?
Well, yeah, let's touch base on, first of all, what is the nervous system when we talk about chiropractic. So everybody has a spine. And in my office, I call the spine the highway of life, because that's literally what it is. The way your body's designed is that your brain sits right on top in the skull. The brain exits the skull and becomes your spinal cord all the way down your back. That is the nervous system. That's what controls every aspect of your body. Every single tissue, blood vessels, organs, and glands are under the control nervous system. So what I usually find amazing is that we go to the doctor when we have systems of our body check. We check our heart, our eyes, our lungs, whatever the case may be, but no one ever take the time to actually check the nervous system, which is what controls every aspect of our bodies. So I know that's what you do in our office, and that's what I do in my office as well. The very first thing we do is check the nervous system to make sure that the nervous system is working properly. Now, the question I usually ask people is, if you think about your body and the way it was designed, your heart, your lungs, your internal organs, everything is kind of exposed to the environment. By design, the only system that's completely encased in bone is your nervous system. The brain is completely encased in the skull, and the spinal cord is completely encased in the spinal column. Why do you think you were designed that way? So that's why the nervous system is so vitally important, and that's why we as NUCA doctors strictly deal with the nervous system through the NUCA correction that we're going to talk about. Okay?
Yeah, the NUCA system is really unique in a lot of ways. The biggest reason is a lot of people talk about, adjusting all parts of the spine. So from the back, from the mid-back to the neck. And really, one of the most unique things about NUCA is that we really only focused on one area, and that's really the top part of the neck called the atlas and the head. And how the head sits on the atlas is really going to have an impact on the entire body, because your body's going to go and compensate around the head and neck. In addition to that, you have all these arteries, veins, spinal nerves, and the closest proximity to the most important structure in the body is the brainstem. And NUCA just offers a really gentle, precise, precision way of correcting that misalignment at the very top of the neck so that the rest of the parts of the body can work properly, even from things like back pain and sciatica, which a lot of people are confused. So they're saying, why are you touching my neck? I have this leg pain. And then they walk out of the office feeling better than they have in years.
And to kind of expand on what you just mentioned, again, just like in my office, and I'm assuming your office, a lot of people come in with back pain and pain down lower in their spine, and they're like, well, why is it you're touching the back of my ear? And again, just like you explained, the atlas, which is a 2-3 ounce bone, houses the major component of your body, which is the brainstem, which is the area really all the signal has to go through to get from the brain to the body and vice versa. So an example I usually give people is, if you remember Christopher Reeves on Superman, when he had his accident, he was in a wheelchair. But if you think about it, there was absolutely nothing wrong with his legs. He was on a respirator, couldn't breathe on his own. There was nothing wrong with his lungs and his respiratory system. He was on a colostomy bag because his bowels and all that stuff wasn't working, but there was nothing wrong with the system. The only thing that he did when he had his accident, he went headfirst off the horse and fractured the back of that delicate bone, which is the C1 atlas vertebra. By simply doing that, no signal was coming from the brain or the area of the brainstem to the rest of the body. So you and I, we may be walking around without a fracture, but because of an accident, injury, fall, trauma, anything that may have happened that tear the loose connective tissue in the back, that can shift that bone just a little bit, and that can cause back pain or sciatica. So you're not in a wheelchair like he was, but that tiny misalignment can affect the entire body. So that's why when you come in, we don't focus on the back or anything like that. We focus on the main component of the misalignment, or the main component of the term that we use in the office, subluxation, which is the atlas. And by gently bringing that back into position, the body should naturally over time heal itself.
You're absolutely right. And one of the biggest differences that I got drawn into NUCA is because of its really gentle nature. A lot of people, not to say that it's a bad thing, but a lot of people don't want the traditional manipulation where they feel like they're getting twisted and popped. And of course, a lot of people get helped by that, and I was one of those people that got helped by that initially. But for the people that are looking for something a little more gentle and precise, then the NUCA procedure provides a way to really, it only feels like someone's just tapping the back of your ear, and the results are dramatic. The other thing that a lot of people have questions about is this a placebo? And a lot of people wonder, how can something so little affect you in such a big way without trying to play mind games or tricks on someone's head? And the thing that I really loved about NUCA as well is that not only will you feel better, but you'll actually see very objectively that the spine is shifted into a better position, because we actually look at you before on an x-ray, we look at you after an x-ray, even after one correction, and we actually see your hips, your shoulders, your head and neck, all of that change just by being very precise with that upper cervical spine.
And that's one of the things I want to make clear for the listening audience. When you come into our office, yes, we're going to sit down with you and talk to you about what's going on as far as the symptoms and the pain. But what we're really focusing on is how your nervous system is working. When you come in, it's not you're going to go and we pop you or twist you or anything like that. We're really going to do some specific testing to really figure out whether your nervous system is functioning properly. And if it's not, we have computer systems that's going to show us where the misalignment and where the nervous system is not functioning properly. And then we're going to take some precise x-rays, 3D x-rays or three-dimensional x-rays that's going to allow us to see in a three-dimensional format how that atlas is not in position or misaligned, putting pressure on that brainstem. So again, it's not something that we just touch your neck or you get better. Everything that we do in the office is very precise. And just like you mentioned, immediately after that first correction, we actually do take those x-rays again. That way, you and us, the doctors, can actually see and whether there's an improvement or not. So it's not just us telling you know what, you're going to get better from your migraine, you're going to get better from your low back. You're going to be able to see the progress in the x-rays and along with all the examination that we do throughout your care. So that's one of the things that I fell in love with NUCA, because I remember when I first started getting adjusted with my migraine, and the adjustment is so gentle. I was waiting for the adjustment and he said it was done. I'm like, how can that be? You barely touched me. But immediately after that, he took an x-rays on me, and x-rays show there was an improvement in the position of the atlas. And again, at that point, I was very skeptical because you got to remember, I was in pain for 20 years, okay? And that adjustment felt like nothing, and I wasn't feeling any changes. However, I was able to see the changes on the x-rays, and I just kept on going. And guess what? I may get a migraine once every 6 months versus 3 to 5 I used to get per week, and that's if I'm not in alignment right now. So I think we had a question about the adjusting and also the migraine, and I don't know if you want to take the migraine question, or would you like me to kind of explain a little bit on migraines?
Well, you have first-hand experience with it,
Right.
so why don't you take that away?
Well, again, people that have migraine understand what pain truly is, because when I had my migraine, there were times where I couldn't be in a room because there was light and sound or anything like that. So the way the body works, and there are several components of migraines. There are some things that can trigger it, such as food, chocolate, and things like that. And there are lack of sleep can actually create migraine. But one of the major components that we found in our office that cause migraine is that misalignment of that C1 vertebra. Whenever you have some kind of trauma, accidents, injury, fall, that atlas can actually rotate out of position, put pressure on the brainstem, and just like we talk about the arteries and the veins that are draining the brain back and forth, when those arteries are kinked because of the malposition of that vertebra, that is actually what causing the migraines. Okay, so by gently bringing that back into position, I mean, I see a lot of people with migraines in my office, I guess because that's what I suffered from and I track them, and pretty much majority of people are getting better and are getting relief because, again, that C1 vertebra is so close to that brainstem, it houses the brainstem, that actually gives relief in almost a 90% case.
And I think one of the most important things, and I know we had a Twitter question about it, is, are the adjustments permanent, or eventually do you get to stop going? And one of the unique things about NUCA as well is that we want to adjust you really as little as possible. I remember after going through my initial phase of care, and my adjustments would start to hold for months and months at a time, and even more importantly, a lot of these problems I used to have would stay away because my adjustments are starting to stay in place. I mean, personally, from what I've seen people hold adjustments almost 2 years in my practice, and that isn't completely out of the ordinary to see someone do that once we've established correction in their spine.
And I think that's important because it may sound silly, but one of the questions I usually ask people is, did you brush your teeth today? Okay, yes. And did you brush your teeth? Are you planning on brushing it tomorrow and the next day? And most people, yes. But why? Because you don't want your teeth to fall. But the thing is, if your teeth fall, you can always replace it. Now, if your spine goes out of position, the case of Christopher Reeves, guess what? You pretty much out of luck. So yes, it's not something that we're going to see you for the rest of your life. Actually, the goal of NUCA is for you to be holding your correction. But again, they are maintenance. Right now, I'm able to hold my corrections 6 months to a year at a time. But at the beginning, we have to balance those muscles to be able to do that. And the adjustment is so gentle and so effective that the body will be able to hold that adjustment.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. We have some really exciting stuff coming up for you on the 5:30 hour. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to interview Michelle Brown, the founder of iHelpMoms.com. And we're also going to ask this question to our audience. What do MS, Parkinson's, fibromyalgia, high blood pressure and migraines have in common. And we're going to get into that a little bit later in the show. But we're going to take a quick break and hear from our commercial sponsors.
When was the last time you had your atlas checked? When your head and neck shift out of place, it can actually affect your whole body. Do you suffer from migraines, TMJ, dizziness, or chronic back and neck pain? If so, you may have an atlas problem, and you need a NUCA chiropractor. NUCA allows for a gentle and precise correction of your spine without any popping, twisting, or cracking associated with conventional manipulations. Call Keystone Chiropractic at 561-247-0044 and schedule a free consultation. Dr. Chung is one of approximately 300 doctors in the world trained in the NUCA protocol of spinal correction. Stop suffering. When your doctors can't determine the problem, you need to contact Keystone Chiropractic. We won't ask you to believe in chiropractic or commit to a lifetime of treatment. What we will do is show you what normal is, and we'll tell you how to get there again. We'll show you using precision technology that your spine has changed for the better, even after one correction. Then we'll show you the path for keeping it that way. If you are tired of constantly patching the problem and you're looking for a long-term solution that you can both feel and see for yourself, then a NUCA office is the right place for you. Once the foundation has been fixed, then we'll teach you how to keep it that way through customized recommendations designed for your spine so that the problem doesn't come back. What do you have to lose? Call today to schedule your complimentary consultation. If you call during the hour, we'll give you a $100 gift certificate to use towards your first visit. No questions asked. No commitments, just a conversation to see if we can help. 2 convenient locations in Boca Raton and West Palm Beach. Call Keystone Chiropractic today and end your days of suffering with chronic pain. Go to our website at www.keystonechiropractic.com or call us at 561-247-0044.
Welcome back to the Heal Yourself radio show, and today we have a very special guest and a personal friend of mine. We have Michelle Brown, founder of iHelpMoms.com. After working in professional sports for 10 years, she used her marketing degree in conjunction with starting her own family to create iHelpMoms.com. Michelle is a passionate advocate for helping moms to make educated healthcare decisions. She is dedicated to empowering and supporting families to be happy and healthy. How's it going, Michelle?
Going great, Dr. Chung. Thanks for having me on this evening.
Happy to have you. Well, you're an interesting guest because you've also had a pretty special chiropractic experience as well. Tell me a little bit about what prompted you to try chiropractic.
Absolutely. I'm happy to talk about my journey through chiropractic. You know, I was a collegiate cheerleader for the University of Oregon, and I took a couple of really bad falls, one of them on concrete and 2 of them on hardwood gym floors. And I ended up getting a concussion and 2 broken elbows out of that. And as you can imagine, the damage to my spine and especially my upper cervical neck area was pretty significant. But unfortunately, none of the trainers and none of the doctors even took the time to look at that area of my body, and instead just gave me oxycodone and a host of other medications to just cover up the symptoms, similar to a Band-Aid. So as I went on through my life, you know, I continued to have these chronic problems. My neck just continually ached, and it felt like it was off-center and irritated, and I had horrible sciatica and low back pain after I would run. You know, sometimes I could barely even walk. And it wasn't until I finally found a NUCA doctor, a specific upper cervical doctor that took films and x-rays of that area and was able to tell me exactly the misalignment that was occurring in my body, causing all of these unwanted health problems. So, you know, for me, NUCA and especially chiropractic literally saved my life, Dr. Chung, and just helped transform me back into the vibrant, happy person that I am today. And I fear where I would have been without chiropractic in my life.
Yeah, and I think anyone that's actually met you would be shocked to say that to think about you ever having any of those problems.
Yeah.
Definitely take a little bit of time to explain how chiropractic's impacted your family, because I know it's had a pretty big impact there as well.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of times we go through life and we don't really understand the cumulative impact that injuries and slips and falls can have in our life. So, you know, when we look at all of this trauma that I had for those first 27 years of my life, I actually was 27 years late getting my adjustment, unfortunately. I wish someone had told me about chiropractic earlier. So for me, when I had that upper cervical neck alignment, the nerves in my reproductive organs actually were being pinched, and it was causing things like polycystic ovarian syndrome for me. It was causing me to have cysts on my ovaries, and I actually started to develop abnormal cells in my cervix. So as you can imagine, the medical doctors told me that having children would be very, very difficult. And I chose to go a more natural route. I always tell people to try something less invasive before going the medical route if possible. And that's what I chose to do for myself. So I really prioritized getting NUCA adjustments to my upper cervical spine. And thankfully, we were able to get pregnant just doing regular chiropractic adjustments. And it was just a fantastic piece of joy in our life. We now have a little girl, and actually we're pregnant again. So I'm really thankful that I had the medical doctors that allowed me to know what was going on, but even more thankful that I had a NUCA chiropractor that really took a look at how to correct the underlying cause of what was going on, pinching those nerves, realigning my spine to allow those nerves to be free of any interference, and giving us 2 children. So I'm really grateful to NUCA chiropractic.
You also have the cutest daughter in the world. How's she doing?
I'm a completely biased source, but she is just a joy.
Good afternoon, Michelle. This is Dr. Jean-Pierre, and congratulations again on the new one.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know for me and my wife, we have 2 as well. We got a 4-month-old, and I understand you are starting a new business. You are the founder of iHelpMoms.com, a company that is dedicated to making motherhood easier. What prompted you to start that business?
It's a great question. When I had my daughter, I was blessed enough to have doulas and midwives, amazing pediatricians, incredible chiropractors surrounding me so that I could have a really empowering birth experience. And after I had my daughter, as in similar cases with many moms, your husband goes back to work, your in-laws leave, and I was really stranded with a new baby. And it really, really took me by surprise of how isolating that can be for moms. And so really I got the idea to start iHelpMoms.com so that families could get the resources, and especially the variety of resources we need to be successful moms and to build happy, healthy families. So I think that all moms should have access to a variety of pediatricians in their area, and a variety of doulas, and a variety of lactation consultants. And I'm really bringing that online to make it easy and accessible for families to find exactly the resources they need to be vital and happy, because we know that happy moms create happy babies, create happy families, and that creates a better planet, and that's what the world's about.
That is awesome. And some of the things that you're talking about, I know my wife is going through right now, because right now she's home with a 2.5-year-old and a 4-month-old. So, and being new to the Boca region herself, this is definitely a great idea to connect with other people that are going through the same thing. And one question, how can chiropractors utilize your website to help more families?
Yeah, I really appreciate you asking that question. I really see there is a need for chiropractic to keep families healthy naturally. And it's very easy. It takes less than 5 minutes for chiropractors and moms to go online. And chiropractors can just register as a provider, fill in their picture, fill in their profile information, and then thousands of moms are going to be able to contact them and start getting their families healthy naturally.
That's awesome, Michelle. So we're going to take a commercial break here in a little bit, but before we go, I wanted to get a little bit of advice from you, because you are probably one of the most healthy, vibrant people that I personally know, and I think you have some wisdom to impart on our listeners. What's the biggest piece of advice to families that want to live healthy, happier lives? What do you have to say for them?
I really believe that chiropractic is the answer to living a vibrant, healthy life. I have not been to a primary care physician or doctor in 7 years since I started getting adjusted. And like you said, I'm healthy, I'm happy, and I've just never felt better in my whole life. And so my biggest piece of advice is that you have nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain by finding a NUCA upper cervical chiropractor in your area. Keystone Chiropractic is an amazing fountainhead of information, and most of all, helping get to the cause of those unwanted health problems. So don't wait. Stay healthy, get healthy, and find a NUCA chiropractor today.
Awesome.
Thank you, Michelle. It's going to be hard to top you as a guest, so thanks for kicking off our show.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, guys.
As we were talking about earlier, those who have the responsibility of knowledge really have the responsibility of action. So it's one thing to sit in your couch wherever you are and listen to us, but you must take action, because otherwise you'll still suffer the same way. So both Johnny and I, what we're doing is we have an offer for the next caller within the hour before the show ends. If you call our office, we are giving $100 off, no questions asked, of your first visit. And again, my phone number in the office is 561-409-3594, 561-409-3594. Ariel is waiting and will be answering your call. And for Johnny,
Keystone Chiropractic, you can call Brittany at 561-247-0044. That's 561-247-0044. And we're going to take a quick commercial break, but don't forget, we're going to talk about what unites multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, and migraine headaches. Stay tuned.
When was the last time you had your atlas checked? When your head and neck shift out of place, it can actually affect your whole body. Do you suffer from migraines, TMJ, dizziness, or chronic back and neck pain? If so, you may have an atlas problem, and you need a NUCA chiropractor. NUCA allows for a gentle and precise correction of your spine without any popping, twisting, or cracking associated with conventional manipulations. Call Keystone Chiropractic at 561-247-0044 and schedule a free consultation. Dr. Chung is one of approximately 300 doctors in the world trained in the NUCA protocol of spinal correction. Stop suffering. When your doctors can't determine the problem, you need to contact Keystone Chiropractic. We won't ask you to believe in chiropractic or commit to a lifetime of treatment. What we will do is show you what normal is, and we'll tell you how to get there again. We'll show you using precision technology that your spine has changed for the better, even after one correction. Then we'll show you the path for keeping it that way. If you are tired of constantly patching the problem and you're looking for a long-term solution that you can both feel and see for yourself, then a NUCA office is the right place for you. Once the foundation has been fixed, then we'll teach you how to keep it that way through customized recommendations designed for your spine so that the problem doesn't come back. What do you have to lose? Call today to schedule your complimentary consultation. If you call during the hour, we'll give you a $100 gift certificate to use towards your first visit. No questions asked. No commitments, just a conversation to see if we can help. 2 convenient locations in Boca Raton and West Palm Beach. Call Keystone Chiropractic today and end your days of suffering with chronic pain. Go to our website at www.keystonechiropractic.com or call us at 561-247-0044.
And welcome everyone. And remember, this is a live show. So if you have any question, you can call us at 1-888-565-1470. 888-565-1470, and we can be seen live at www.1470.com. Now, earlier, before we went to commercial break, we asked a question that I'm pretty sure many of you are waiting to hear the answer to. So what does all these things have in common? When we talk about MS, Parkinson, fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, headaches, I mean, those things are far out there, and I can't imagine they really have anything in common now, do they?
Well, that's one of the things that I thought about too, and I want to share a cool story is that on one of my trips when I went to visit you up in New York in Dr. Gertner's office, is I was just blown away because it was my first experience with NUCA and learning about the Atlas subluxation complex. And what was remarkable to me is I walked into the office and I would literally see patients with Parkinson's disease whose hands were tremoring, and they'd leave the office and their hands would stay still again. I'd see people get out of wheelchairs, coming out of an adjustment, and this just kind of blew my mind. And the one thing that all these things had in common is that all of these people had the Atlas subluxation complex, and it just kind of rocked my world on really how devastating that atlas subluxation could really be.
And you're right. I remember the first time you came in New York, and we did see a lot of those patients. But before we even get into that, I want to make sure that people understand that as NUCA doctors, we don't cure anything. We don't cure MS. We don't cure Parkinson. We don't cure any of that stuff. What we do, just like you mentioned, is focus on the atlas subluxation complex, which is pretty much when you have an accident, injury, fall, trauma, something that may happen that can knock that atlas back out of position, put pressure on the brainstem, and not allow the proper communication between your brain and body to work as it should, and that expresses itself in different ways. And you, it may express as MS or Parkinson or fibromyalgia. In others, like myself, it was migraine and things like that. So by gently adjusting that C1 vertebra, we are able to kind of return on your body to allow the body to naturally heal itself over time.
And I know this concept can sound a little crazy, and just being the really research-driven scientific guy that I am, really wanted to understand what was happening with the atlas subluxation and how all these conditions were happening. And there's a lot out there about things like how blood flow is affected in and out of the brain when you have an atlas subluxation. There's a lot out there about how a subluxation can start to put traction on the spinal cord and the brainstem. And of course, just the way that your head and neck line up, if your head's shifted off to the side and it's putting more pressure on the spinal nerves on one side of the body compared to the other side, then your body's going to try to do all these wacky things in order to try to compensate for it. And one of the things that I really appreciated about NUCA is that we're really trying to do these strong basic science research to really understand what's going on with atlas subluxation. There's actually a really cool study happening out in Calgary right now about migraine headaches. And the really cool thing that they did is they put people with migraine headaches into this MRI unit, and they were measuring a substance called cerebral spinal fluid. And what cerebral spinal fluid does is it actually creates a cushion for your brain and your spinal cord. But what it also does, it actually carries nutrients and waste in and out of the nervous system. And it also can put pressure on the nervous system when this fluid starts to back up. And one of the interesting things that they're finding is when people have this atlas subluxation is that they're seeing that this cerebral spinal fluid becomes almost like turbulent. It becomes turbulent and starts putting extra pressure on the brain and the brainstem itself. And when people release this pressure, they're starting to see that on the post-MRI that the turbulence starts to decrease and that lesions in the brain are actually either no longer growing or they're starting to go away. And that's pretty astounding.
Yeah, that's amazing. And one of the things that I love about NUCA, just like you mentioned, is that we are very dedicated as far as the researcher. It's not just talking about, I put your atlas back and you back and you're feeling better, but there are, just like when we see you on an individual basis, there's a lot of things that goes on before you get the adjustment and a lot of things that goes on after. But we are very dedicated as far as figuring out why these things work. We already know they work, but we have to know why these things work. You mentioned the headache study. Back in 2007, I believe there was a great study about high blood pressure that came out, and I do see a lot of patients in my office specifically high blood pressure. Can you kind of explain a little bit more what that was about?
Sure. And this was a study done at the University of Chicago. Dr. George Backus, he's basically the go-to guy in blood pressure in the world. And he was working with Dr. Marshall Dickholz, who's one of the most preeminent NUCA doctors in the country as well. And what they started noticing in Dr. Dickholz's office is all these people with blood pressure in the 150s and 160s were going into his office and they were leaving with almost normal blood pressure. And they decided to design a study to see what was going on. So they took these people, half people got a real NUCA adjustment, they saw changes on the post-X-ray, and half people got a fake NUCA adjustment because being how gentle NUCA is, it's very easy to use that as a placebo. And one of the things that they found was that the people that got the real NUCA adjustment had their blood pressure lowered by about 17 points. And that's the same blood pressure lowering effect as 2 blood pressure lowering medications. So this got a lot of press in places like WebMD. It was featured on Good Morning America. And it actually sent a lot of people to NUCA doctors to try to look for answers to their blood pressure problems.
Yeah, and like I said, I do see a lot of patients in my office for specifically high blood pressure. But one of the cool things about that study was half of the people that get adjusted got better. But what they didn't publish is that afterwards, they went back and actually adjusted the other half, and the other half seemed to have the same exact reduction in blood pressure as as the first half. That wasn't published on there, but we didn't want to. Well, not we, but they didn't want to actually leave those people with that high blood pressure, which I think was pretty cool that they got the same results after that as well. Okay, and you just mentioned when you came to New York, I just want to kind of share a story about the guy that had Parkinson's, and this gentleman came to us because again he had Parkinson's, and as you know, with Parkinson's, there's a lot of things that's not working right, and with Parkinson's, it's something wrong within the nervous system itself. So it's not like we're going to fix Parkinson's. It's not like at the end of the day the Parkinson's is going to be gone. However, the symptoms actually goes away. This guy would get on the train to come see us in New York, but the problem is with Parkinson's, there's sometimes difficulty moving. See, we would actually stand in front of the train door would open up, and he would stand there and not being able to start moving. Okay, and that would happen to him over and over for about an hour until he was finally able to get on the train to come see us. And the great thing about it is every time that he got his correction, he was able to not only the shakiness of the hand, but he was able to get off the table and start walking right away. And again, that's one of the amazing stories that I've seen personally from this side, looking at patients. And this guy, again, he still had Parkinson, but it means so much to him that he was able to grab things without the shakiness, that he was able to move without being stalled all the time.
And that's one of the things that I always want to really embed in our listeners' minds, is that it's not about curing the disease. It's about doing things little by little that help you establish a higher quality of life. Right, it's about doing the things that you love again, because we take care of a lot of athletes who aren't in pain, but they want optimum performance, and getting their atlas corrected is just a piece of that puzzle. And one of the things that it's really remarkable about the atlas is that we're really affecting something that is only shifted out of place maybe a millimeter out of place. And the fact that something so small can have such an impact on the body is really remarkable.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people listening right now, it's like, yeah, all this sounds good, but is it really that simple? And you know what, a lot of things in life are. The body was designed to be to be healthy and to be able to heal itself. So again, if you're sitting out there, I just want to really talk to you and tell you, you don't have to suffer. There are things that we can do to actually help you. So call, make an appointment, and again, it's just a conversation. It's not a commitment to anything. Pick up the phone, call now. My office is 561-409-3594, 561-409-3594, or you can actually see us online at uci-fl.com, which is uppercervicalinstitute.com.
And you can check us out at Keystone Chiropractic. We're at chiropractickeystone.com, or you can call Brittany at 561-247-0044. But yeah, that's really one of those things, is that people have to make that decision within themselves that, hey, I want to get better, because that's the only way that we can help, is if people choose to get better and choose to take the necessary steps to make that happen.
Yeah, and again, I see a lot of people in my office that are frustrated for the simple fact that they've been suffering for so long. They've been told that this is something that they're going to have to live with for the rest of their life. They've tried everything else. And really, the majority of patients that go to NUCCA doctors are patients that have seen and done everything, and this is usually their last resort. And they get frustrated because of the fact that how come nobody told us about this? And folks, unfortunately, there's only 300 people that do this kind of NUCCA work, because it's so grinding and it takes so much schooling to actually do that. So find a NUCCA chiropractor. There's two of them here, right here that's talking to you, that would love to be able to help you. So make sure you make that step, because for me, again, one of the things that I'm passionate about is helping people, for the simple fact I suffered for 20 years when nobody told me about this. So again, that's why we're here. That's why we have this office, and passion is what drives us to actually get people better, because there's nothing, I know for you, there's nothing more rewarding than seeing somebody come in and they've been in pain for so many years, and as we adjust them, as we get the nervous system functioning properly, and their life literally changed. Like you said, it's all about the quality of life, spending more time with your family, being out of pain, enjoying your job, enjoying life again. That's what the NUCCA is about.
For sure.
Yeah.
And one of those things is that you mentioned that you know, is it as easy as that? And I'm just thinking, like, man, this isn't easy. I work hard when I'm adjusting people. That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's the thing my patients see too. It's like in their mind is very easy because, again, easy is because they don't feel much pressure on that atlas. But there's hundreds of things that has to be working right, from taking the x-rays properly, from the adjustment vector, from all the stuff to actually bring that atlas back into position. But again, the main component of getting better is that the body is able to do exactly what it was designed to do, which is to heal itself.
Absolutely. So we wanted to kind of just leave you guys off before we close up the show, is that we'll talk about what we're going to go over in week 2. Is we're going to have a pretty special segment specifically about mild traumatic brain injury and concussions, because I know that you've seen probably dozens and dozens of patients with concussion injuries.
And I think the reason why we chose that topic is because that's been a topic that's been hot on the news lately, traumatic brain injuries, and especially with the NFL and all the concussion, all the things that's happening. It's a big thing in the news, so we wanted to address this and how NUCA can actually help people with traumatic brain injuries, because a lot of the time after the injury there may not be any symptoms, there may not be anything going on, but as we know from the NFL, over time the long-standing effect of such injury can create dramatic change in personality, change in mood, change into even some cases where people are actually killing themselves.
For sure. Yeah. Did you hear the story about Jim McMahon on the radio?
I think I heard that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was in bad shape, but Scott Rosa has been taking good care of him, and he's actually going around and telling people about atlas corrections and how it's been able to help him restore his mood and restore his body's ability.
And as people are probably listening, they probably think this is something that's new, something that's, but the NUCA correction, the NUCA organization has been there for a number of years. It's just taking a little bit of time for people to get to know that. And again, studies like the high blood pressure studies like the migraine study, and a lot of other things that's happening are bringing it to the forefront. So this is the best form of chiropractic out there to be able to allow your body to naturally and gently heal itself.
Definitely. And I'm looking forward to some of the work that NUCA is going to be doing. We're looking at getting studies done to really study the effects of a NUCA correction on traumatic brain injury, and because there's just people that need us. There's people that are playing high school football right now that are just getting their heads bashed in on a routine basis. There's cheerleaders falling on their head, people falling off horses, and they need an answer so that they don't have to go through their life and wait for dementia to happen in their brain and wait for chronic diseases to pop up.
And I think we got some time, and I think we just got a question here. Again, I talked to people about my my migraine started since I'm 5, and unfortunately I didn't get it just until I was at the age of 25. Now, do you see a lot of kids in your office as far as children that suffers from ear infection and stuff like that?
I do. I mean, I was certified in chiropractic pediatrics through the ICPA, and it's something that I definitely have a passion for, is affecting our next generation.
Yeah, so again, folks, if you are listening out there, please don't wait. Don't wait. Make that phone call because, again, your life depends on it. The quality of the life depends on it. So pick up the phone. I know Ariel is standing by, ready to answer any question for you. And again, I want to assure you, it's not you're not making an appointment because you're dedicating your life to this. This is just a conversation to see if the NUCA correction is the right fit. And over the next hour, what we have is a special. You get a $100 gift certificate towards your first visit, no questions asked. So again, call the office, Upper Cervical Institute of Florida. UCI-FL.com is our website, and the number is 561-409-3594, 561-409-3594.
And you can check me out at Keystone Chiropractic at chiropractickeystone.com at 561-247-0044.
And one of the things I want to leave you with, there's no disease known to man that somebody hasn't recovered from. So if they have, why not you? And my favorite quote of all time, you never know how far-reaching something you may say, think, or do will affect the lives of millions tomorrow. That's kind of the mantra of chiropractic, but that's one I've adopted because, again, that doctor in Missouri, by adjusting me, it really literally changed my life. And we were able to do that. So if you hear and you're listening to this and somebody, a member of your family, is not listening to it, please pass the information along, because you never know what that information can do for their lives.
Great show, JP. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Join Dr. Jonathan Chung and Dr. Greg Jean-Pierre each week on the Heal Yourself radio show every Thursday at 5 p.m. Listen each week as they interview leading health experts to provide you with comprehensive and natural solutions to make your body work at its best and solve chronic health problems. Right here on 1470 AM, the Health and Wealth Network. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors.